Hey everyone, it's Saturday, June 19th. The time right now is 4:18 p.m. and the temperature is 29 degrees Celsius. I'm currently walking east along College Street. And this would be a rather long lineup to get into Winners. And if you're American, it's a store that's a lot like Marshall's. In-store shopping has reopened, but there's rather stringent capacity limits. And that is Yonge Street just up ahead here. And since the month of June is Pride Month, I thought it might be a good idea to go take a walk around the Church-Wellesley Village. And that is where the city's LGBTQ community is based, or I guess the heart of that community would be there. And there's a look north up Yonge Street. And just to my south, I believe is some water main replacement going on. So on my left is College, but on the right is Carlton Street. And the Church-Wellesley Village is bordered roughly by Yonge Street, which is where I'm standing right now to the west, and I think Gerrard to the south. And to the east it would be Jarvis, and to the north somewhere around Charles Street. So now it's east on Carlton Street. So what I'll do is I'll head over to church and then I'll walk north up through the heart of the village, which is centered around the intersection of Church and Wellesley. And there's a neat mural. And the village is known for its numerous parks, bars, restaurants, and shops that cater to the LGBTQ community. And it also features a number of Victorian-style homes. I think that would be some bleed over from the Cabbagetown neighborhood.
So they would still ask us to.
And when I got off the subway today, I felt a bit like a traveler getting off of a long-haul overseas flight. It was quite the journey to get down here. I went to go board the subway at Eglinton Station, but of course they were running shuttle buses this weekend, and with the active TO construction going on where they're reducing the lanes on Yonge Street and installing bike lanes and expanding the patio spaces in what they call a complete street, it ended up taking a very long time to get here. The subway was closed south to St. Clair, and from there I had to wait quite a while to get on the subway. And on the left here is the Ryerson University Athletic Center and the Loblaw Supermarket. Inside the bones of the old Maple Leaf Gardens, where of course the Toronto Maple Leafs used to play. I've kind of talked about this building to death in prior videos. There's some people on the patio at Mickey Finn's. I'd expect to see a lot of busy, colorful patios when we get to the main part of the village.
And feed your
And here we are at Carlton and Church. Where this new condo is, I think used to be a bar that was well liked in the community. But it fell to the same fate as a lot of older buildings around here have. And there's a patio in front of Hair of the Dog. And I just felt a few raindrops. Someone was trying to make a poorly timed lane change. Maybe we'll cross over and get a look at this bar. And this is Wood Street, and the next street to the north of here is Alexander Street. And these two streets are named after Alexander Wood. And I think he was a magistrate going back to the early 1800s. There's some controversy surrounding him. And there's a statue which we can go take a look at, which I think the local business improvement area is asking the city to remove. Apparently he had played a role in the country's rather unfortunate residential school system. And just across the street here are the City Park apartments. And they were built in 1954, and at the time they were the tallest residential apartments in the city of Toronto. The Church-Wellesley Village printed on those signs. So here's Alexander Street. There's the statue in question. I think the light's about to change. And there was a rather unfortunate scandal involving Alexander Wood back in 1810. I think that's where he got a lot of his reputation from, and that's noted on the statue. So I'll cross back over to the east side of Church. There's a look at the Church Street Public School. So these expanded patios are part of the Cafe TO program.
We can do anything. It's all about you.
Well, yesterday was. Are they gonna open your space? I don't know.
And there's a look at Cruise and Tango. There's a large patio across the street. I don't know what the place that is. Boutique bar? And there's Woody's. That was featured on a TV show called Queer as Folk. And I think it was set in the US. I never actually watched it, but someone once told me about it.
I've done it with work once or twice. It's fun as a workout.
And this here is Maitland Street. It's a rather large patio here at O'Grady's. And I quite like the east side of the street. There's some really neat buildings over there. And some extended patios, it looks like, at the Church Moose. The Church Mouse. Whoops, I said that wrong. And the Church Street Garage Resto Bar here. It's definitely good to see some life back in the city, especially in neighborhoods like this that sort of depend on their restaurants and bars and those kinds of establishments that were forced closed for the longest time. This place is really good. I went to their Bayview location before. And this is Church in Wellesley. And just to the west of here is Wellesley Station. And normally every June, they hold a very large Pride Festival here in Toronto. Might even be one of the biggest in the world, but it's been canceled the last few years. Or rather, moved online.
I do it for a living.
Because I'm just trying to bring the logic, right?
I don't even think that's working out.
I think we might be
No.
about to witness an altercation of sorts. The guy at the clipboard in the street is kind of wisely walking away. He did the right thing. So what I meant was the Pride Festival moved online. I think you can go to pridetoronto.com. And I think this is the 519 Community Center. And this place played an integral role in the development of this community. It was seen as a safe space for members of the LGBTQ community back in the 80s. And I think it's been so ever since. And here is Barbara Hall Park. Certainly some interesting characters here. But we are here to take a quick look at the AIDS Memorial. This was erected to honor the loss of all the people who have lost their lives to AIDS and HIV. And their full names are prescribed on the memorial. I walked past here countless times and not really realized what it was. Starting in 1981. And unfortunately, it looks like there's still some recent additions going in. 2018. This park is Barbara Hall Park, named after the former mayor. I think I can cut back to church on the left side of the community center here. That artwork is pretty neat. And those handlebars are funky. How do you ride it with them straight up like that? And it's back to church.
Yeah, like you can say.
And there is Stormcrow Manor. They opened up not too long ago. I think it's somewhat of a board game cafe. There's a look to the east along Gloucester Street. There's the tattoo studio. And this is Isabella Street. And Spain and Poland are tied at 1 with 7 minutes left. I just decided to turn east on Isabella. There's not much more happening north on Church. Maybe I'll just take this way over to Sherbourne Station. And get a look at some of the residential areas around here. There's no way that's not a heritage property. It's usually pretty quiet in my experience on these streets once you're off Church. And up ahead is Jarvis Street, so this would be the Home Children. That's interesting. There's all kinds of little nuggets buried throughout the city. So as I was saying, Jarvis here would be the eastern boundary of the village. And just to the north there, Jarvis becomes Ted Rogers Way. Well, if you stick to the left, and it's also the start of Mount Pleasant Road. And I have left the village. Sherbourne is just the next major street here to the east. So I might as well leave the camera running. And this area is known as Upper Jarvis. And here is Huntley Street. Let's take Huntley north for a block. We're just wandering now. I'll come back and do a later evening walk up church at some point this summer. Probably not in the month of June. I try not to cover the same areas too close together. I'm gonna head over to Linden Street here. And I don't think I've ever recorded this on this channel before. Just to the east of here is the St. Jamestown neighborhood. And we're coming out next to the James Cooper House. At the time, the heaviest residential relocation project in Canada. It cost over $1 million to move this house. And they moved it to make way for this condo as part of the site plan. The developer behind that was Tridel. And just to the north of here on Sherbourne Street is the Sherbourne Station. So I'll be crossing over here. I'm just throwing my mask on in preparation of heading down into the subway. That's Howard Street. And just to the north of here is Bloor Street East. Yes, I looked to make sure there was no one coming in the bike lane. So I hope you enjoyed this walk. Starting at Yonge and College, right in front of College Park and College Station, over to church, and then up through the Church-Wellesley Village. And as I usually do, finally ending up at a subway station. This one being Sherbourne. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below if you wish to support the channel. Channel membership is available on my YouTube page. And I also have Patreon memberships available. Just pull out my transit card here. And let's go east. I feel like a bit of an adventure. Well, it looks like the next train won't be for a while, so I'm going to end the video here. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Actually, I hear a train coming. I lied. It said next train in 3 minutes when I glanced at the board. Well, I'll stop recording when I get on the train. Thanks for watching, guys.
The next station